Hi, everyone. It's Marilyn, Alauria, and welcome to Who Can It Be Now, the podcast. So on today's podcast, I'm going to do a few different things. The first thing I'm going to do is I may have a little rant for you because I've got some things bubbling up inside of me, and I'm really tired of certain people's dishonesty and lack of integrity, and it just makes me angry. So that is the first thing I'm going to share. Second thing I'm going to share is a little bit about synchronicity and how important it is to set intention and what that means. And I'm going to share a story with you that was a really big moment for me this weekend, actually this morning. And then, the morning that I'm recording this. And then I'm going to share a couple of resources, and I'm going to also do a meditation with you so that you could use it before you go to bed at night to help you connect with your soul and get clear on your intention so you could take action in your life. Because I feel like a lot of us are in the ending chapter of a certain specific moment, and we're waiting for the next chapter to start. And we are just finding ourselves a little bit in that abyss. And clarity and consciousness is super important right now. And sometimes in the waking state, you have a difficult time grasping what that clarity is and what that consciousness is. And if you do some work before you go to bed at night, which I'll give you some tips and tools if you don't want to use my meditation, it can be mind-blowing what comes out of it. But before we go into the actual episode, I also wanted to remind you that I'm doing the SAS experience. So you can go to joinsas.com, and I really suggest that you join us. It's an incredible life-changing experience. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, whether you can make the lives or not. The page is so active. It is done on Facebook. It's done in the Facebook group. And we do lives, and everything's emailed too. And we always have homework posts, and we do the lives, and we do all these really fun things. And people, it's just such an active page that no matter where you are going to feel like you're participating live. And also the other thing that happens is we give some suggestions and tips and techniques and tools on how to really stay engaged and watch the videos and learn the lessons and then come and participate. So I do hope that you join us. You can go to joinsas.com and check that out. Okay, you're going to hear a little music, and then the episode is going to begin. I'll hear you. No, you won't. I won't hear you. You'll hear me on the other side of the music, not on the other side of the dimension, the other side of the music. I'll talk to you soon. Oops, I have one more thing I have to say. So before the meditation, I did a reading for Michelle. I posted on Instagram anybody who wanted a reading, and she and somebody else answered, and she was the first one, so I did a reading for her. So I want you to benefit from that reading. I'm used to doing group readings, and people walk away going, wow, I didn't even know I had that question, and when she answered so-and-so, I got so much out of it, or I give a lot of techniques and tools. So before you listen to that reading, or right now before you listen to the whole main podcast, think of a question that you may have. Try to stay away from yes or no. So it could be like, what do I need to know about my romantic relationship? What do I need to know about my marriage? What do I need to know about my career? Something like that. And just think about that question. And as you're listening to the reading, I want you to engage your 5 physical senses, which really is in a way using your psychic senses. So you're going to use your imagination, and you're going to play along. And as you're listening to the reading, you're going to notice what you see, because you're visually going to see things. I may be talking about the trees, which I do, and you may see a specific tree. Just notice what you see. It's going to activate your clairvoyancy. Notice what you hear. Certain words may jump out more than others, or you may hear something that is not necessarily in the reading. Like I may be talking about the forest and you're hearing the trees or an owl. Notice what you hear. Notice what you feel. Feel physically and feel emotionally. So notice what you feel physically and emotionally, and where you feel it is important too. Notice what you smell. Imagine yourself being in that reading and smelling something. And just imagine a smell. It doesn't even have to be like you're actually smelling it. You could be like, I smell honeysuckles, or I just smelled peaches or strawberries. Just notice what you smell. And then pretend you're tasting something. What do you taste? What are you tasting? You could be tasting air or rain or mist or water. And you can put this all together on a piece of paper and just notice how it might be leading you closer to an answer to your own question. Also in the reading, and before I go into that, what I mean by that is when we engage in this particular way, you're opening yourself up to inspiration from your guides, from source energy, because you're engaging differently. You're allowing yourself to see, hear, feel, sense, know, taste in a different manner. And it just opens your channels up in a really profound way. It's pretty incredible. So you may not get an answer in the moment, but later on, because you've just played this little game, it's like an exercise, you're going to get something. The other thing I want you to pay attention to is where I say something to Michelle, but it applies to your question. Because when I do these readings like this, it usually answers many questions for many people. All right, guys, have fun with it. I do hope that I'll see you in SAS, so definitely go to joinsas.com. If you're sitting on the fence about it, don't. Be accountable. Let's make a choice. Come play with me and have a lot of fun. If you have any questions about it, email us at care@marilynalauria.com. That's care@marilynalauria.com. I'll see you soon. Well, actually, you know all that spiel. I'll see you in the next part of this podcast. Well, actually hear you. No, you'll hear me. Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Thanks. Hi, everyone. It's Marilyn Alauria, and welcome to Who Can It Be Now, the podcast. And this is episode 37. Wow. It's been an incredible amount of fun bringing all of this to all of you, and hearing the feedback has been really great. And I'm super excited to continue on and really dive deeper into lessons and teaching you guys things. So I'm giving my thoughts, putting my thoughts into that, like what else can I do, and what do I want to do, and where do I want to go? And if you have any ideas, please, by all means, I'm getting very active on my Instagram, which is Marilyn Alauria. Send me a message, let me know, and I'd be happy to teach on a topic if it is an expertise of mine. It would be great to do that for all of you. So there's a few things I want to share with you today, which I mentioned. And the first thing I'm going to share is a little bit of a rant that I have right now. I actually have two bubbling up inside of me, but one is I'm still a little raw about. So I'm going to try to hold that one back, even though it's like just wanting to come out. I'm very direct, very honest, and very communicative person. So when I have something on my mind and I'm trying to communicate it to the person, and the person's just being a total... I'm not going to curse. Anyway, it's something that bubbles up inside of me. So with that said, this rant idea came from Bethany Frankel. So I've been listening to Bethany Frankel's podcast, which I'm really enjoying. I don't know if you like her or not. I personally like her. I don't know her, but what I see from her, I like. And I really like her podcast a lot. I think she's doing some incredible interviews with people. And if you're running a business or wanting to run a business, she's really interviewing it around businesses and branding. And it's very fascinating to me. And I always like listening to business people that are very successful, because especially honest business people that are successful, because they tell you the failures, the mistakes, the great advice, and it's just really fun to listen to. So she starts her podcast off with a rant, and she's really funny. And I can be really funny too, but right now I'm a little too angry to be funny, to be honest with you. So let's see how this happens. And I just did a rant on my Instagram page about unsolicited readings, because I have a feeling about those. But this is about unsolicited advice. It drives me insane, absolutely insane. So let me explain to you what is unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice can show up as like you put a post on Facebook, and you're just sharing a story, or you're asking a question, and somebody who doesn't know anything about it but wants to act like a know-it-all comes on and posts and comments and asks you a ton of questions or gives you unsolicited advice. And that's not what your post is about. You're not asking for advice. You're not asking for somebody with a bunch of ego to come in and tell you something, but they're giving it to you. It drives me crazy. I can tell, and I wonder if you can tell too. I'd love to know. But I can tell when somebody is just pulling stuff out of their butt. I can tell that it's not grounded in any kind of reality. They may have read like a sentence about it, or they think they know, and then they're hitting you up with their lack of anything. It's like all surfacey advice, and it's also condescending. And it drives me insane. So I just wanted to share with you, do not give me unsolicited advice. If I'm asking you for an opinion, okay, give me an opinion. If I'm not asking you, don't give it to me. So if I post something, I once did a post about an experience I had when I was in a virtual mastermind for a whole weekend, and it was deep into COVID. So everything was shut down. And after the mastermind was over, I went out and got food, and the restaurant owner was telling me how his business, how he was dealing with his business, and it was sad. And I was driving home, and I believe the song came on, You Can Count on Me. It was like one of those songs. It was like, just putting salt in the wound of the moment. And I was really missing all my friends, and I was missing connection. And I drove home and I wrote this beautiful post on my Facebook wall. And I said, to start out, because I knew that those unsolicited, egotistical people were out there. And I said, do not give me advice about this. I'm not asking for advice. I'm sharing an experience right now from a very vulnerable, emotional place. If you have a story of something that happened to you, by all means, please share it. Otherwise, move on. And it was incredible the kind of comments I got on that post, because people were really great. Like, people that I really respect commented on it, and I was like, whoa, this was really nice. And nobody gave me any. I think one person did, and I was like, yeah. And it was the typical person that comes along and does that drive-by kind of, here's my advice because I know it all and you don't know crap, Ola. So I can't stand it. I'd love to know what you think. We'll put a post on Instagram asking you what you think about unsolicited advice, because I'd love to hear from you. So that's my first thing. Second thing is, I want to talk a little bit more about setting an intention and synchronicity. So I know I'm in a very, it's interesting because I'm struggling with this topic to tell you guys this, because I'm like, don't they want to know more about psychics and psychic clairvoyancy, clairaudience, and all these things? And don't they want to know more about guides? And that's my expertise. But my expertise is also in living a synchronized life. It's also living in alignment with my soul. And the two go together. Your psychic abilities will not grow if you're not aligned with your soul, if you're not aware of your mind chatter, if you're not in touch with yourself. So I tend to like to party with both topics quite a bit. And I try to be helpful in all areas of these topics. So I'm in a point in my life where I'm really feeling the ending of a chapter. And it's a frustration. I'm going to be really honest with you. It's a moment in time where sometimes it's absolutely phenomenal. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I'm like doing this and I'm doing that, and this is great. And then there's times like, I'm like, WTF, what the heck is going on here? Where is it? When are you going to show up? Show it to me now. I'm ready. I'm ready for that next thing. So I had some of those moments this weekend with the show me the friggin' thing. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. I'm a little bit like walking around chasing my tail. But I know enough to stay in observation when I'm in that mode. And I know enough to keep in action. So I wish I could recall. I'm going to try to recall everything that happened, but I had already channeled about it this morning. And if I channel about it, I sometimes lose a little bit. So I'm thinking about a move. That's really on the forefront of my mind. It's been on my mind ever since I moved here. But I knew that this place was temporary. I knew this place was a stepping stone for me. And so I've been focusing on different places and trying to get a feel from it. And I'm not in a place of desperation, like I have to get out of here. Like LA, I really had to get out of there, and I never looked back. Here, and in New York too, after 9/11, I was really done with it at that point. I'm not in that place here. I'm surrounded by nature. It's beautiful. You've heard about my life and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just ready for that next part. I'm ready for that next chapter. And so this weekend, I found myself just sitting with it and thinking about it and having time on my hands. And I have been going to bed at night listening to this guy on YouTube. And I'm very, very picky about who I will listen to meditation-wise, because you don't know what subliminal stuff they're putting in there. That's my opinion. Like, if I don't get a good vibration or energy from it, I am certainly not going to be listening to your sound stuff, because I don't know, maybe I'll like give you all my money or strip and run down the street or, do some crazy ass stuff. And I'm just not doing it. I don't trust it. I know that there could be like, if the vibration doesn't feel good to me, it's weird. Matter of fact, I used to listen to, there was one that I listened to, and sometimes it would go into another one on YouTube and I'd wake up like, what the heck is going on? And then I'd look at my YouTube and I'd be like, oh, it ended. The one ended and it went to some other freaky shit. And I don't need that freaky shit in my vibration. And he's got like 3-hour long meditations. And I put my iPad on really low and I just let it get in. So one of the things you can do at night is ask, really pray for answers. And you may not see it in your conscious life because you're distracted or you're so like, I need to know, or whatever's going on in your waking life, that our mind isn't quiet enough for the information to get through. Even if you meditate, even if you talk to your guides like I do, you could still sit there and spin around. So at night, I have been setting an intention for clarity in different areas of my life, but mainly it's about my next chapter, my next move. And I've been putting on his meditations and going to sleep. And I woke up, I wish I could remember which morning it was. It might have been Saturday morning or Sunday morning. No, Saturday morning. And I woke up with, intention is everything. And they said to me, you need to know your intention above all else. You need to plant it as a seed in the ground. And then you need to make choices around that intention. And they showed me the choices were the fertilizer, the good soil, the watering, the sun, the nurturing of the plant. Those are all the choices that are helping that intention to grow. So it's not so much about a goal. It's not about a specific thing. It is a specific thing actually, but it's the prayer. It's the one. So you may have let me try to explain this. You may have a few things that you're going for, right? You may be thinking about moving, and you may be thinking about raising your children in the right way. And you may be thinking about your relationship with your husband, and you may be thinking about making money. But there's one intention that's the root factor to all of those things. And Spirit said to me, you have to focus in on that intention, plant it in the ground, and then every choice you make has to be growing that intention. And they said something else, and this is a moment I'm going to share with you, that was so profound, and I can't freaking remember it. I want to kick myself. And I search in my head, and I'm like, because one of those, you're like waking up, right? And it was such a profound thing they said. And I was like, wow, that's really profound. And you think you'll remember it. I have no clue. No clue. And they haven't brought it back. And I hope they do bring it back. I search in my head. I'm like, what? It's not there. So that's the kind of deep work that you could be doing in your sleep and waking up. And I would suggest you have a notepad by your bed or a recorder. And because you think you'll remember it and you won't. So what is your intention? So my intention about my move isn't necessarily really about my move. It's about community and family and home. There's a lot to it. And I'm not going to get into my specific intention because it's personal and private to me. I'm not going to share it with a bunch of people that could muck it up or give me unsolicited advice. So I have my intention and I'm very clear about it. And I planted it in the ground and I'm like, okay, so every choice, that means when Joe Schmo invites you over for dinner and you know that your energy is going to be tapped out like a mofo, Joe Schmo mofo, you don't go. You say no, because right now you're fully focused on your intention. And if it's not a water, sun, fertilizer that's going to help your intention to grow, then you have to say no. This is something we teach in Soul Finder Academy, how to say no to things. So I have to, eat my own little food there and keep that in mind too. So I think that was actually Saturday morning I woke up with that, because then I went and played tennis, and I can't even recall what I did Saturday, but I had a pretty decent day. And then Sunday I didn't have anything planned, which is very unusual for me. And I woke up in the morning and I journaled and I cleaned the house a bit, and then I went off to a place with water because I just needed to be near water. And I went to this place with the dogs, and I was walking by the lake, And I was like, oh my goodness, I have to live by water. It was just so super clear to me. I was like, that is one of the things. Like, I'm starting to get clear. And then I went into a special little hike, and I'm not going to reveal too much. And there was a place where the dogs could play in water, which they love. And it was really great. And I came home and ate some lunch and did my vision book. A vision book is like a vision board, but it's a book that my guides have been asking me since I moved to do. So I started working on it, I think, last weekend, and I went and worked on it, and I was listening. I wasn't listening to anything. I was barbecuing at that point because I was making dinner, and it was really great, and I was enjoying it, and it was just really a lot of fun. And then I went to bed last night, and I was listening to Abraham Hicks, who I haven't listened to in a while, and I really like Esther Hicks, and I like Abraham, and I was listening to them, and I was playing with my vision book. And then I had to go upstairs for some reason. I can't remember why. And because I sleep downstairs, so I was in my bed doing it. And as I was going upstairs and going in through my house, I felt like I was in the vision book. I didn't even recognize, like, the stairs I was going up to with stairs to my new house, the kitchen I was in was a whole other kitchen. And I realized like how much my guides had been asking me to do this so they can implant me in the feeling and the emotion and the time of what it is I'm desiring. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I went to bed and I put on this Jason Stevenson guy. I put on one of his things. And I just had a good night's sleep and woke up this morning and journaled for about an hour. And then I went out with the dogs and it hit me. It hit me that it's not about where I live. And they gave me a specific action that made complete sense to me about what I needed to do in order to find that next place and that next chapter. And it was all so fascinating to me. And I sat down, and I know I'm not sharing the whole thing yet because I'm not ready to share it fully yet. But I sat down in meditation and channeled with my guides. And a lot of times what I do now is I summarize the events that lead me to the moment of the channel session so that I have an audio recording of everything that's going on in my life at the time. And I was going through my life and I was like, oh my goodness. And then this moment happened, and then that moment happened, and then this moment happened. Little things like having a meeting with peers for my mastermind group, to finding out about a conference, to me deciding consciously, I don't want to do a conference. It's a great conference, nothing against it, but it was a 2-day conference. I don't know how I feel about the leader. I think she's pretty good and it would be a great opportunity, but I'm like, for that amount of money, I'd rather go to tennis camp, or I'd rather go do more yoga certification. And it's about what you value, right? Like if it was probably led by somebody else that I had a lot more interest in, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds great. But all of these things led to this moment of this clarity. And you never know how it's going to drop in. And that's what I mean by I stay in observation. I stay in the frustration. I don't ignore my feelings. I ask the questions. I set the intention at night. I go to bed. Whether I listen to Mr. Stevenson or I listen to something else, or I don't listen to anything at all, I meditate before I go to bed. I pray. I do a gratitude list. That's every night. I do a prayer and a gratitude list. And sometimes I do my own meditations. Sometimes I listen to another meditation. And then I go to sleep. And it just works out like magic. So I want to do a meditation with you guys that I don't know what they're going to do. I feel like it's going to be mainly about light and aligning with your soul and setting an intention. It might be a very short meditation, but I feel like it'll catapult you into that experience of bringing up to the surface what you need to do in order to enter that next chapter of your life. But before I do that, I wanted to do the reading for Michelle. So Michelle Wolf, she actually was somebody I interviewed for Membership for Your Soul about 3 weeks ago. And I didn't know her. My assistant, Laura, finds amazing people and amazing teachers, and she brings them into membership and they teach their expertise. And I don't know if Michelle's going to be a teacher yet, but I can tell you the interview was fascinating. We had a great time together and I learned a lot about her. And I really enjoyed her, and I will definitely share that interview on this podcast at some time, because I thought we just had a great experience together, and we just were in, we had the same belief systems in certain areas, and she just has a skill set that's so magical. So I wanted to she was the first person to actually answered. I put up a reading post, whoever wants a reading for my podcast. I did one last week. I'm doing one this week. I'll probably do it one more week, see how it feels, see how it goes. I don't know how I feel about this yet. And she was the first one to answer it, so I'm going to do her reading. So I'm going to pause, but you don't know that I'm pausing, but I'm pausing. Okay, I'm going to read Michelle's question, and then I'm going to answer it. So her question is, of all the places I can put my focus, what is the most efficient place to make sure I'm at my highest and best for serving myself and others? So Michelle does amazing work with the trees, and she's created this, I don't want to butcher her work. Her name is Michelle Wolf, and you could find her on my Instagram under that post so that you could find out who she is. But she does this incredible work with nature and with trees and Reiki, tree Reiki. And Michelle, what's coming up for me right away, there's a couple of things that are coming up for me. The word efficient has been very interesting, but what's coming up more right now is your throat chakra. And they're also showing me the art of the trees. Like what I feel, so what I do in readings sometimes, you don't know me very well, I jump around quite a bit, but it gets summarized in the end. I move myself completely from the equation and ask that they speak through me, and they're speaking to your guides. And they're very focused on my throat chakra, very focused. And I'm not sure if in some of the work that you're doing, if you're doing, you may have told me this, some sound healing or sounds, it's almost like the trees are asking that you give them a voice. And that the voice doesn't have to be our language. Matter of fact, I don't know that it would be our language. It's actually just sounds. And wow, this is interesting. So they're showing me these trees, right? And then they're showing me you facilitating a workshop, whether it's in nature, or I also feel like there's some artistic books for you to do. But you are like, people are putting their hands on the trees and they're making sounds. And what that's doing is, it's not necessarily the communication of the tree or the sounds that the tree makes. It's the unison of the person and the tree creating sound together. And it's their sound. It's not led by you making a sound, although you may start it that way, and then people making their sound. So I'm getting chills with this, which is confirmation. There's a lot of information coming through, and I could see why you would need efficient, because you're getting flooded with channeled information. And I know you're very gifted in what you do. But what they're showing me is this forest, this beautiful forest. They're showing me the forest that I go into, the redwood trees. And then they're showing me you gathering people. Whether you gather them physically in the area or not does not matter. And they put their hands on the trees. And then maybe there's a deep healing that's going on. Maybe there's a deep motivation, Spirit said, or an accountability for themselves, or setting an intention or planning an intention, or maybe that's what they're doing. But they're touching the trees, and then they're just allowing sound to come out of their mouth. They're going to ask me to share a story right now. So I had that thing that makes you dizzy. I can't think right now. And one of the things I did is I went underwater and I submerged myself completely in the water. This was suggested by someone, but I also intuitively knew it. And I just made sounds. And my voice, I needed to get the sounds out in order to balance the vibration in my body, to stop the dizziness. And vertigo, I had vertigo. And it stopped it. And they're showing me that, like now, so I can't breathe. They're showing me like people's hands on the trees, and then they're breathing with the trees. And we think of ourselves as separate, but we're not separate, which they said that they said that you have a knowledge of the trees that a lot of people don't hold. And it's not about comparison energy. They don't get into comparison energy at all, but they do want to identify a special gift that you have, something that you have that you're bringing forward. And they said where you're getting kind of caught up in is there's some old work that needs to go away that doesn't really speak to your soul anymore. And they said they really need you to make space for all the new stuff that's coming in, because they said sometimes it's like we have to do the A, B, and C because that's paying the bills, or that's supporting the business, or that's bringing in the clientele. But really it's D, E, and F that you're really headed for. And if you know that you're heading to D, E, and F, thank you, then A, B, and C becomes a little bit more manageable, but not to overwhelm yourself. So hold on a second, if they got to get them go slower. So one of the things that's happening for me right now is I'm getting ready for my D, E, and F, whatever it is, but I'm still in A, B, and C, which is great. So, but A, B, and C is not allowed to overwhelm me, because D, E, and F I have to make time for D, E, and F. So I hope I'm making sense. And if I'm not, you can message me, Michelle, and I'll explain it a little bit more. But hopefully I'll remember, because I probably won't remember this, but anyway, they'll come back to it. So the throat chakra is huge for you right now. So whether you're facilitating big conferences or virtual conferences, or actually feel like you're meant to put some of this in a book. And I feel like it could be a kid's book, but it's not a kid's book only, it's an adult book. And you may bring in an illustrator on. I have a couple of illustrators that are really wonderful if you need somebody. And you may bring in an illustrator on, and like the kids, remember when you were younger, I'm sure they have these touch and feel books. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, those touch and feel books where you would feel the bark of the tree. Well, the tree actually feels velvet to me. It's like that beautiful velvet feeling you would get. And this especially is really beneficial for kids that we consider special needs, which there really are the healing energy of the world that are coming in. And they touch these trees, and they learn how to make their own sounds. And some kids that are special needs, they don't know how to speak, or they don't speak in our vocabulary. They have their own words. So what's so fascinating about this, Michelle, is that I didn't know all this was going to come through me for you. And last night I was listening to Esther Hicks explain to somebody about autism and special needs kids, and she has the same belief that I do. And I'm not going to get into that right now, because that's not what this podcast is about. But I was like, oh my goodness, go Esther. That's what I believe too, Abraham. And these kids, whether they're special needs or not, I have such a hard time with that word, because they are the healers of the world. They're the healers. And the trees want you to be a conduit for them. And you don't have to hold that completely, because there's other people out there that are doing this work, but it's different than how you do it. And I don't want to get into all of that. But the trees are like, please let her understand that if she has to do it in her way, her efficient way that works for her, and we will get the messages through people. So I don't want you to feel a burden from this, because you're not supposed to feel burdened. You're supposed to feel the creativity of it. So the picture book for me is a book where people might be able to touch the trees, or the colors just bring you in. And then it might be accompanied with a sound, or it might be accompanied with like a CD. Well, right. Maybe you just go to a link. I don't know, because who has CDs these days? They don't even put them in the computer. But anyway, it's like making your own personal sound. That's what it feels like to me. And you take what you leave and leave the rest, please. By all means, you're the master of your own life. But I can feel it. I can feel the unison. So this may be very different, or it might be somewhat different than what you were hoping to receive in this reading, because you have your work in front of you. All I would ask you to do is try it on for size. You know yourself well enough. See what's trying to come in. It might be your own way of hearing it and what works for you. I might spark something, or I might close a door to something. You might be like, nope, I'm not doing that. And that's good too. It's whatever works for you. But again, for me, I'm going to read your question again, because I have to get into something specific. But the trees have a way of communicating through you, and you helping people to communicate with trees. And I'm sure everyone that listens to my podcast, maybe not, but for me, I've showed you what I stare at, the trees. And it's where I need it to be and where I need to be, because it's my connection to source, and it reminds me of who I am and why I'm here. And that's what you're here to do. So I'm going to read your question one more time. Of all the places I can put my focus, what is the most efficient place to make sure I'm at my highest and best for serving myself and others? And what Spirit just said to me is whatever makes you feel creative, whatever makes you feel divine, whatever makes you feel aligned. And I feel like there's certain things that it's not out of alignment, because your work has been phenomenal. I'm getting a headache now. Like I got a big headache with this answer that I'm about to give. It's the things that give you a headache. It's the things that you're no longer excited about. They need to go away. And what you may want to do is bring certain people in to teach that aspect of what you have, and then move on to this other area. So I feel like Spirit is making a big space for you, because there's this creative side to you. You're very creative, but it's even bigger and greater that wants to come out. And, they're showing me, and this symbol comes to me a lot, and I can never remember. It's that Native American guy with the flute, and I can't remember the name of it. And I have a feeling you'll know exactly, but it's like, you're like the Pied Piper, or you're the sound for the forest. And it's so individualized for each person too, that you're the facilitator of the connection between the person and the trees and the healing that happens. And they're very excited. So I may have just thrown more into your basket, but I can't worry about that. So I do want to apologize, but that's the way it works with me. Like, they just throw things through me, and I have to move out of the way and allow them to do that completely. So Spirit feels you know exactly what is for your highest and best, serving yourself and others. And it's whatever makes you feel like you're in creative flow. And whenever you're not in creative flow, that's when you have to examine it and change it. And they're asking me to answer a personal story real quick. So my business, I'm shifting it a bit, my model, and I knew that I was shifting. I've been through a shift before. We all have, right? And you were a therapist, and you know about the shifts and the changes. And now it's a little bit different. So I know the shift is coming. I've been feeling the shift. They've been showing it to me. They've been showing what I'm going to move out of and what I'm moving into. And I'm able to do it in a way that this may take a year. And that's okay, because it's not like that moment in time where you reach a wall and you're at the wall in your business or your career and you're like, how the heck did I get here? How do I get out of here? I'm just like up against the wall and this is horrible. And you're at this beautiful moment where you're on the journey and you're not going to be at the wall, because you're like, you know what? I'm already feeling it. I'm already feeling the things that no longer inspire me the way they used to. And I'm already feeling the itching, the scratching at my core, my soul, my light. And it's asking me to express more. So I leave that with you. I launched right into it, so I didn't get to say to everybody, take from Michelle's reading what applies to you. And Michelle, by all means, whenever I used to read people, I used to do a little bit of disclosure. And the first thing I would say is, well, one of the things I would say is take what you like and leave the rest. You're the master of your destiny, not me. Thank you, Michelle, for allowing me to read you. Okay, guys, I'm going to pause for a second. You don't know that I'm pausing, but I always have to say that because I'm so in vibration. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk a little bit about intention, and we're going to go into a meditation. I have to say one more thing. Michelle, I believe what I said you're already doing. So you might be like, yeah, I'm already doing that. Lean into the vibration of it then. There's a newness coming out of it. There's something new, but it does feel like it feels like a different kind of book though. Okay, I've got to try to stop so I can go into the next level. Thank you. Okay, everyone. So this is going to be, it's not going to be as long. And maybe if you like this, I will definitely do more. But I'm going to do a meditation where you can listen to before you go to bed at night or when you're falling asleep. What I would like you to do first is ask that you get clear on your intention. You may know what your intention is, but I want you to allow for possibility for it to be even something deeper or more resonant with your soul. So it's something that it may be even bring more light to the surface. It's like I have been so focused on my goal, remember, and then the intention when they shared that with me, and then what they brought up after that was even something I wasn't thinking about. It was the aha moment. So just close your eyes and feel that intention in your heart and your throat. Our heart chakra and our throat chakra, at least for me, is our truth center. Many empaths shut down their heart because they can't. It's too much to feel. And I want to invite you to open your heart up, because how you feel about things is your biggest indicator on what is good for you and what isn't good for you. Your throat chakra, it's not only about clairaudience, clear hearing, it's about speaking your truth to yourself. And you want to be able to hear your own inner urgings, your own inner truths. The truths that are whispers that are trying to be heard. They're the truths that are like, you can write that book, you can be that speaker, you can have a kid. All those types of truths that are buried in your light, in your wisdom, in your soul. So just take a couple of breaths now and take it in your throat and your heart. And you might take it from your throat and travel it into your heart. And exhale out of your heart. Inhale through your throat. Ground to your heart. And breath for me is connection to yourself, to your deeper wisdom, to your inner light, inner guidance. So as you start bringing your breath in, I want you to start feeling it dancing around your body. Now, some of you may fall asleep, and I don't want you to worry about it because the work gets in no matter what. So now as you're breathing through your body, you're just breathing in an awareness that everything you need, you have. Everything you want to know, you know. Everything you feel is for you. Everything you desire is within you. There are no answers outside of you. They all are inside. So I just want you to bring your breath in. We're not even entering into the meditation yet. And I'm going to have you bring breath down into your feet. And you're going to work up your body with your breath, whether you're inhaling, exhaling numerous times, does not matter, but you're bringing your attention to your feet. And you're creating space in your feet. Because you're walking this world, this life right now with intention that is aligned with your soul. And then you're bringing breath and awareness to your ankles because they know which direction to turn, that are guidance, that are leading you further into your destiny. And then the breath is in your shins because they help carry your feet towards your intention, where you want to go. And then your kneecaps. Left is about receiving, right is about doing. And you need all parts of yourself. You need the wisdom, the knowledge of the past to bring into the future. And it balances you out. And as we're continuing on working through the body, your deepest prayer is to know your intention right now, the intention that's going to serve you, support you, and carry you to your dreams. So it may be a particular intention that you're thinking about. It could be about a move. It could be about authoring a book, whatever it is. You're asking Spirit to show you the rooted intention, the intention that is the root to everything else. So you don't need to repeat that question. All you need to know is that is what is happening. And now we're breathing into your thighs. And your thighs are carrying your body. Your thighs hold space. Every part of your body holds space for more wisdom to come in, to get wakened, to lighten up. And now you're in your pelvis area. And this is where root chakra energy lives, belief system. So if there's a belief system that needs to be rewritten or dissolved, in order for the truest intention that's going to serve your soul right now to come forward, that's what's happening. And then the pelvis area is about creativity. And your souls are creative. You are creating your journey, your life. And even if what you created does not feel comfortable, it is still carrying you where you need to be. We do not want to deny any parts of ourselves. We want to acknowledge it. We can change it. So all I want you to do right now is breathe the creative being that you are. Creativity comes in so many forms. Don't deny creation. And now you're going into your lower stomach, which is where intuition lives. And you're just breathing in the intuitive hits. And you're going to trust the intuitive hits that come through. And you're going to follow them. because they're going to take you further into your soul, alignment with your soul, deeper into your destiny, why you came here. And now you're going to your stomach, above your navel. And this is also intuition. And it's the higher stomach, lower heart energy. It's where the two meet. And you're just breathing in, acknowledging your breath. And something is being turned on inside of you. It's this magnificent light, the light of your being. And the light's going all the way down into your feet and all the way up towards your crown. And you're just being filled with this incredible light. This light is connection to divinity. Now you're moving into your heart. And it's just your awareness. The light is still working through your body. And the awareness of your heart, of what you love and what you don't love. And being aware of what it is with ease and grace. And what no longer is serving you is easily falling away. And then you move into your higher heart energy, which is compassion for self. And you recognize that every moment have been words on the page of your book. Your soul is jumping out of those pages, so excited that you're igniting the light of your soul. And it's ready to write the next page. And you're moving into your throat chakra, where it communicates. And you speak, and you write, and you heal through communication. And whether it's speaking words to yourself or speaking words out into the world, it is layered with your intention right now, what you need to know in order to move forward. And then your breath is lighting up your entire face, because you matter. You're ready to be seen. You're ready to be heard. Most importantly, you're ready to see yourself. Then you move into your third eye chakra. Because whatever you need to see in front of you shows up. And many things may show up, but that one thing that is super important gets lit up, has a different kind of light around it. And you recognize it right away as it being a piece to your puzzle, a thread in your tapestry that is leading you further to the design of your life, the design of your destiny. And you just open up and you're aware of your own gifts. And then you move into your crown chakra, and that gets lit up. And light pours from your crown chakra, and it connects to your soul's desires, to your guides from the highest light and highest alignment with you, your higher self. And it rains down around you. And this beautiful light is weaving inside and outside your body. And with your breath, it's reminding you what's important to you right now. Where do you need to put your intention? What is it that you truly desire? What is aligned with your light and your soul? And there's a seed that appears. And you don't have to know what that seed is. You just know that your purest intentions, your creativity, your divinity, your light, your alignment with your soul, your being from the highest light and highest alignment with yourself. It's all in this seed. And your highest intention that is aligned with you right now is in that seed. And it's getting planted into the ground. And that ground may appear inside you, it might be outside of you. There are no right or wrongs. And you're patting down the soil. And you're committing to making choices that nurture this intention. Nurture this seed of life for yourself. And you're in co-creation, partnership with this intention. And again, you may not know what that intention is, but the deeper part of you knows, and it will be revealed, and you trust it. And then you water it. You bring some light into it. You feed it. And you say your own personal commitment to it. And this intention can change. But for right now, an intention is going to grow out of this that is perfect for you. It's leading you down the journey, the path with heart, where you're meant to go, where you're meant to be. Everything you've been asking about comes down to this one intention, this one prayer, this one thing that if you work on it, it's going to be a domino effect to everything else that you've been asking for. And that intention is going to be revealed to you. And whether it's in your sleep state or waking state, Spirit's bringing it forward. And Spirit is your soul. Your soul is lighting it up. And it is showing your intention inside your heart, inside your throat. And it's lighting up all your chakras down to your feet, all the way up to your head, to above your head. And it's surrounding you. And it's grounding you on this earth plane. It gives you purpose to walk, intention to walk. And you're committed to the choices that you make and to feeding and nurturing this intention until you decide that there's a different intention that shows up. But right now you're going to learn about, figure out, choose one, and that's the one you're going to work with. Because with that work, you're going to learn what you need to learn about yourself. Your soul is going to grow, expand, you're going to be aligned. You're going to be saying yes to things that you desire and no to things that bring down your energy. You're saying yes to the yes vibration, to the light, to your divine energy, to your why you're here, what feels good, your creativity, your love. And I'm just going to take a few moments now and we're going to just work with the light and the energy, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just working with breath and vibration and with my guides, communicating with all your guides and the star energy. And we're just breathing. You become the lantern, you become the light. The light's illuminated, and it shows you the way. And clarity comes through, and consciousness, and you know the way. In any place that may be locked up or not serving you or have a little something that needs to be dissolved, Your next few breaths, dissolve it and release it. You are the power. Now the breath is dancing with the light inside of you. And it's not putting the flame out, it's feeding it. And you're bringing your attention back into your body, into your physical being. Because you're walking this earth. You're a spiritual being living in this physical body. And you're here for magnificence. And you're feeling your feet and your ankles, and you're thanking them in gratitude. Legs, torso, body, arms, hands, does not matter. It's whatever you equate to be physical. You're dancing your breath, your light, your mind, body, and soul. And your breath is grounding you in the practical. So with intention, you can carry out the purpose of the moment and align with your soul. So in a moment, I'm going to have you open your eyes. And some of you may be sleeping, and that's okay. Just bringing you back to yourself and remembering what you need to remember, knowing what you need to know, feeling what you need to feel, and having clarity of mind, body, and soul. Grounding into the earth. Into your breath. Anchored, clear and conscious. You can open your eyes. So hopefully the mic picked up that, because it looks like it was pretty low. I will check it after this. So hopefully that helps you. It was very interesting for me. I'm still in this space. I'm trying to come out of it. It was very interesting for me to do a meditation where I don't necessarily take you out into your waking life. I've never done that before, ever. I've never done a sleeping meditation. So what I suggest you do, that if you are awake, that you stamp your feet on the ground. You can say your name to yourself 3 times, calling your spirit back into your body. Just make sure that you are physically in your being before you get up and do something. So thank you so much, as always. And if you find this helpful, please rate and review and subscribe to my podcast, and also share it with your friends. And do come and visit my Instagram page. I'm sure I'll be doing one more reading again next week. I don't know if I'll keep it up, but I will have a post that'll be there on Friday where you can ask your question, and I will pick one question to answer in readings. And next week, I promise to teach you a little bit of how I do readings, and also give you a specific question so you can get specific question to ask yourself, so you can get an answer in my reading for the person I choose to read. Thank you so much. Have a great day or evening whenever you're listening to this. Much love to you.